Isabella Reed always knew her place. As the housekeeper of the Montgomery Mansion, her job was clear: keep the estate spotless and ensure that her employer had nothing but the best. But never, not even in her wildest dreams, did she imagine crossing the line of professionalism with the man who paid her salary. Damien Montgomery was a reclusive widower, mysterious and devastatingly attractive. A man scarred by loss, who had shut himself off from love. But desire was something he couldn't ignore. Neither could she. And on that night, under the dim glow of the fireplace and the sound of the storm outside, everything would change forever. From the very first day at the mansion, Isabella felt the weight of Damien's gaze. He was an intense man, his presence overwhelming, and every time he walked past her in the corridor, the air between them seemed to thin. She tried not to notice the way he looked at her, the way his eyes followed her movements. But then came the small interactions, the way he held her hand just a second too long when thanking her for a cup of coffee, the way his deep voice turned rough when he said her name, the way his gaze lingered on her body when he thought she wasn't watching. Isabella knew this was dangerous, but she couldn't stop herself. And then it happened. It was a stormy night when Isabella walked into Damien's study to bring him tea. He sat at his desk, his shirt unbuttoned at the collar, revealing a glimpse of warm, strong skin. She should have left the moment she placed the cup down, but he caught her wrist. "Stay." His voice was almost a whisper. Her heart pounded. "This isn't right, Mr. Montgomery." His eyes burned into hers. "Then tell me to stop." She opened her mouth, but no words came out, because she didn't want him to stop. With a decisive movement, Damien stood up and pulled her into his arms, his body pressing against hers. The heat between them was undeniable, a tension that had been building for months. Their first kiss was urgent, desperate, as if they had been starving for each other. And from that moment on, there was no turning back. Their nights became stolen moments. Secret meetings, whispered confessions, tangled sheets, and muffled moans. But every morning, when Isabella walked down the grand staircase pretending nothing had happened, Damien's smoldering gaze pulled her right back in. He wanted her, and she didn't know how to resist anymore. But Damien's past still haunted him. Would he be able to open his heart again? Or was Isabella merely part of a romance doomed to end?